What is going on, everybody? We are getting ready to talk about Fluid. Just setting up the stream, get my links out there. Just give me a moment. All right, got the link out on Twitter. Hit up some, I'll let the people in the Paribus Telegram know as well what we're doing. Grab that link. But I'm going to be covering just the project, like online sentiment, whether it be Twitter, YouTube, and we'll just see what we can find out and learn about this borrowing platform on Cardano, native, Plutus, Haskell, and see what we can do with it, and if it is going to be competition for Paribus, or if we can figure out a way to leverage both of them. That's what I am going for. All right, let's take a look here. So we've got a Twitter account, Fluid Tokens. So lend and borrow using your NFTs on Cardano's first NFT DeFi bridge. They've got a pinned post here, Fluid Ambassadors. So they started off with marketing. I was marketed to before I even understood or knew what the project or the platform is. So that is a different approach than I'm used to seeing, especially with Cardano projects. So it looks like the newer people or the newer projects that are launching are definitely learning from past mistakes of other projects, which is interesting. It's a good thing, I see. We'll see how it works out for them. So they're following 9 people. They've got less than 1,000 followers. They have a token very soon. So, you know, regardless of what happens, there might be an opportunity for early pump and dumpers, airdrop hunters. So with a lot of these projects launching on Cardano, it's almost a given that this is going to happen. So let's see. Let's take a look. I like to look at who they're following. So Paul, Kazin, so of course Charles, Minswap, Elon Musk. So they're following some pretty large influencers, I would say, in the space. I don't know if we know that there's an allegiance here. They're ambassadors here. Linda and Pete from the Learn Cardano podcast. I like his videos. I watch them. Let's see. Let's introduce our first ambassador, a CNFT artist, SPO for, well, I don't know how to pronounce that. Malu Pool, and production engineer. And always share serious DeFi knowledge with the Cardano community, and she'll help us stay community driven during the whole journey. Welcome aboard. That's cool. See what people have to say about that. Gonna keep an eye on this NFT lending. I was just at first base like yesterday with what's going on around here. Very cool. Italian here. I wonder if we can unlock some of the value in our ADA. Wafus, welcome aboard. So this looks to be possibly geared towards just Cardano NFT projects, CNFTs. Let's see what they have to say about our friends. So you got like double the conversation. Then our friend Pete, ambassador for various projects. So yeah, you can be an ambassador for multiple projects. You don't have to be with just one. Of course, people want to text me when I go live. Always great info on the Cardano ecosystem. Congratulations. Seems like more just congrats to the ambassadors than conversation about the project so far. Let's take a look at some tweets here. What is their token going to be? Well, they just put Fluid tokens. Had a discussion with Fluid tokens on Cardano RealFi Twitter space. It is interesting NFT. I can listen to the recording here. Okay, they were on Subcritical TV. That'll be interesting. They're a pretty harsh community as far as judgment goes. So I need to find that video and probably take. Oh, here's the recording right here. So we have the recording here. It's about an hour. That'll be interesting. I'll take a look. That happened on April 4th or April 11th. I need to take a look at that. And then they've got some Meet the Fluid team. They got a hashtag here. Let's open that in the new tab and see what we got latest. All right. Okay. So they got a couple of people here. Alicia joined Fluid Tokens to implement the back end of the dApp. She was part of the second cohort of Pluis Pioneers program and is building the interaction between Cardano wallets and the smart contract. Okay, so she went through, there's her Twitter. She went through the Pluis Pioneers program. Mathematician, biochemist, health and crypto advocate. And she likes cheese. She likes cheese. All right. Let's see. Front-end developer working on Cardano dApps for over a year, has been working with CNFT.io, Planet Pals, and other projects in Cardano. At Fluid Token, he is in charge of building a fluid user experience for everyone. All right. Okay. Coffee and Code, working on CNFT.io marketplace. Looks like they're all newer so far. Newer people. That's good. Depending on what you're looking at. All right. Raul has been developing on Cardano before the Alonso era. He is sharing what he learned on CNFT Academy and help other projects to release on Cardano. At Fluid Token, he tests the smart contract with Cardano CLI. I want to know more. Yeah, so he is definitely dedicated to, a lot of these people are dedicated to CNFTs. So I'm leaning towards believing that this project is going to be heavily focused on CNFTs, Cardano native non-fungible tokens. But I think we're a small pond. Cardano is a very small pond at the current moment. So I don't know. I think if getting an early jump on the NFT scene in Cardano is going to be It's going to be niche, and niche is typically good when it comes to social media. I don't know how that is going to play out with TVL, because there's very little TVL in our pond here. You're going to really benefit more from being interoperable when it comes to borrowing and lending, because you're more stable. And I say this with a grain of salt. Your more stable digital assets are going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins, of course. So your borrowing and lending platform is going to need to serve those digital assets. So when you're talking about serving a niche in NFT, you're talking about some extremely volatile, low TVL. That's what scares me on this project. That's definitely what scares me here. But let's go ahead and check out the website, like I got pulled up here. And we're gonna look at everything. We're gonna do my walkthrough of what I do, what I look at, what I look for when I am looking at projects. So they've got the marketing in a row. They've got their marketing ducks in a row, I believe, and that may not be good. It may not be bad. It just really depends on the person. Me personally, I don't really care much about marketing when you don't have anything to market. You can put all the money in the world into marketing and boost and push your project or your token's value to the moon. But if there's nothing behind it, it's going to fall flat on its face no matter what. So it's all temporary. So that's why I don't really care much about early stage marketing. It's because everything could just be a flash in the pan. What I care about is the actual product. So let's take a look at the roadmap. Since the launch of the app hasn't happened, you get that little no symbol there when you hover over it. Let's take a look at the roadmap. So smart contract in mainnet platform creation, first round of partnerships. That's Q1. Okay. So I don't know. They didn't say anything about that. They didn't call anything about that out on their Twitter page, that they were complete with any smart contracts. I'm not seeing it. They're introducing their people. Let's go all the way back. And by all the way back, I mean the end of March. So they're spreading the word. They're tagging people. They're tagging influencers, other projects. The website's up. Their Discord white paper landing pages are out. Looking for advisors, ambassadors, and so this tweet right here doesn't make me feel super good, because these things should kind of already be taken care of in a private way. If they're advertising looking for advisors and ambassadors, and they're not pulling, and moderators are not pulling those things organically or from support, that worries me a little bit. Not saying that is like the end all be all. It is a bit of a ding in my book. And in my opinion, you want to have this stuff kind of before you even launch or post your first tweet. You kind of want to have this stuff at least at a base level, so that you don't have to kind of beg for it on social media, just out in the open there. I don't like that. As the team is fully focused on the Fluid token tech stack, we are looking for the following positions: community manager, marketing social media manager, eventual addition to smart contract developer. So I mean, right out of the gate, what is this? The next day, they're looking to hire these pretty heavy positions. Community manager is not a small task. Marketing and social media manager, same thing, not a small task. And this one, which is listed last, should be listed first. Smart contract developer. That is not a small position to fill. What's happening in the backstage? Smart contract has been deployed in mainnet, so that's the 31st. They did deploy that. So last day of the quarter. Airdrop study to reward the community. DApp UI in progress. Partnership scouting. Traditionally you'll see. Oh, somebody said true. Yeah. I don't know. You kind of want to have you want to have this stuff already and you don't want to advertise it really. You kind of just want to. You should be reaching out directly to these people that they tagged in this tweet down here. You should be already in their communities. You should be involved in their communities. You should be talking to these people, building relationships organically instead of kind of begging for the positions to be filled. That worries me. Explain our project in 3 words. Okay, little tweet farming exercise there. They bullish dumpling. Could you check our DMs? We are trying to reach you. I don't really like these tweets. These are, I don't even do this stuff and I don't have a project. I don't beg anybody to DM me or communicate with me. This stuff should be, if they wanted to contact you, these people's DMs aren't flooded to the point where they don't see your message. They see your message. You don't have to reach out like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. No Space Buds was mistreated during our testing. Did he say anything? No, he didn't say anything. They're kind of just reaching out to him. Okay. I don't know. It's like desperate marketing to me. It's kind of like desperate marketing. And it doesn't make me feel good. I'd rather no marketing than desperate marketing. So far, I'm feeling and we haven't even gotten to tokenomics and, the basics, the things that this thing is going to stand on. So let's take a look at the roadmap. So smart contract on mainnet. They've definitely announced on their Twitter that they did that. Platform creation. First round of partnerships. I don't think that happened because they're reaching out for partners at the very end, literally the last day of the quarter. It's kind of desperate. Exactly. Seems desperate. It does. I don't like I would say that this was a pretty much big fail. And they didn't even have to put that one in that one. They could have just put first goal, launch on mainnet, launch smart contracts on mainnet, or testing smart contracts on mainnet. There's no like, they missed a lot. They could have restructured their roadmap to say, we're looking to build a borrowing platform on native Cardano. We are developing the smart contracts, and then list your progress in the development of the smart contract. Instead, they started and said, smart contract on mainnet. That was it. And it's like, okay, well, what was the lead up? What work did you put in? Who did the work? I feel like they could have put a lot more points, technical points on their roadmap for Q1. And they really just kind of seemed like they used, and this is from the outside looking in. It appears that they used a lot of their Q1 to kind of ask for help on Twitter, which, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. That's what we see when we search and we look. That's what we see. Q2. So this is what we're in right now. So they should be working on these things in the now. Token public sale and airdrops. DAO to verify NFTs. Platform fully online. Second round of partnership. So do we see any communication or information on their Twitter about the successfulness of the first round of partnerships? Did they announce any partners? And I didn't see that. I did not see any partnership announcements, which is worrisome. You would think that a borrowing and lending platform would at least have stablecoin partners, because I don't think you're going to be able to do borrowing and lending without a stablecoin. And that's pretty low hanging fruit on Cardano, because we have Cody, we have, Dana or Ardana. They don't even have a partnership with Ardana that was announced. That's worrisome, but let's take a look through the media and see if we missed it and they have it somewhere. So it looks like they have, yeah, these are CNFT borrow. Loan request started and NFT locked as collateral. Borrow sets the amount and the percentage rate and time to repay. Cancel or lend. If the lending is not active yet, the borrower may cancel the request. Lender selects a loan to grant an NFT cannot be redeemed until the next conditions are fulfilled. Repay or redeem. Lender gets % of the lend plus liquidity lent. Borrower gets back the NFT, or you can redeem. If time expires, lender can redeem the NFT. and they used a space bud in this example. We create liquidity from illiquid valuable NFTs. I'm sure Rats DAO may enjoy what we are building, the first decentralized bridge between NFTs and DeFi. So so far in my research here, I am kind of, they're just taking advantage of a gap here. We know that Paribus is building an actual borrowing and lending project on Ethereum using Solidity, which is, I'm going to say, way easier than doing it from scratch in native Cardano. There's a reason why Paribus is doing it the way they're doing it. And Paribus was advised by Cardano to do this. So the actual blockchain that Fluid Tokens is building on natively has told Paribus, a much larger project, to build on Solidity contracts instead of Cardano for a reason. And they are ignoring that in building it on Cardano natively with no backing and no support from the blockchain. This is worrisome for me. If I'm thinking long term, this is worrisome for me. I mean, I don't even really have to go much further in this to understand that this is probably not a good idea right now. I'm not trying to say they shouldn't be doing this. I'm just, from a investor standpoint, someone that is, looking, hey, where can I place my bets? This bothers me. So what I've seen so far bothers me. But let's pretend like we didn't see any of this. We didn't see any of these tweets, and we're going to look at it, face value. Q2 is going to be very interesting. Roadmaps are difficult. Roadmaps are difficult to build. They're difficult to maintain because things can go wrong at every turn, especially when your blockchain is still in heavy development, like Cardano is. There are some aspects of Cardano that are fully built out and are working perfectly. And then there's a lot of aspects that are not. And the biggest challenge the large projects have, and I'm talking about the Sunday swaps, I'm talking about the Min swaps, I'm talking about Paribus, I'm talking about these big projects that are funded with millions, tens of millions of dollars. We are in the infancy of the smart contracts. Smart contracts have not been live for a full year at this point. They haven't. These are facts, people. So to build something that no one's built before on a blockchain that is in its infancy, still early, on a smart contract platform that is in its infancy, there are very few veteran Plutus Haskell programmers that are in existence today. Very few. So what happens if they run into an issue and they need some serious support? They need someone with years in the game to look at their smart contract with a fresh pair of eyes. Where is that going to come from, and how much is that going to cost the project? I can tell you right now, I mean, if you have any exposure to the larger projects building on Cardano, the biggest issue right now are Plutus programmers. They are hard to come by. They are expensive. You're looking at like things like Charlie 3. Damien is on Spaces, Twitter Spaces all of the time, talking about how difficult it is to source Plutus programmers. It's difficult. The programming language is like 40 years old, but the way that you program it in the financial space, this is fresh. And like I said, Cardano hasn't had smart contracts live for a year. We're in like month? What are we at? Month like 7 or 8? We're in the 8th month of smart contracts on Cardano. And you've got this very, very, very young project trying to, create their own path in a snowstorm. Just doesn't seem very rational to me. Again, extreme risk, extreme reward, but it's difficult. And that's what I'm getting at. This is a difficult project. This is going to be difficult to pull off. To pull it off perfectly, I think is damn near impossible. I think they're going to run into a lot of trouble, a lot of problems, and they're going to need support that I do not believe they'll be able to get, regardless of how much money they have. So a DAO to verify NFTs. So are they going to go full DAO on these NFT projects? Like everything's in play, or, you know, proposals can be determined by whoever casts a vote. That could be bad. And I've talked about that in, I think it was the dumpling space with Paribus. I talked about living and dying by the DAO. It seems cool and it's the big buzzword, but a DAO is not the end all be all of things. Like, it could go terribly wrong based on who has control over the governance. So that's a problem. You're starting out with, again, a smart contract platform that's in its infancy. You're starting out with a technology that isn't exactly foolproof in DAOs. Like, it's good. We like hearing that. We like hearing power to the people, but people can get things wrong. And if people can get things wrong, does that mean the end of your platform? Are there any safety nets in place? Are we going to kind of dip our feet in first and then see how it goes? Are we going full throttle? I would want to know. I want to know about that. Platform fully online, second round of partnerships. Like I said, I don't know. I don't like these two. I don't like these two quarters. Fluid staking, sponsorship of DAO investment funds. Fluid tokens earnings split with the stakers, additional NFT DeFi services. And that's Q4. I think these things should be talked about first. What do they mean? What are their thoughts around staking? What are their thoughts around other services? So what kind of services are they talking about? I feel like this is really vague. Q3 and Q4 are extremely vague. I don't expect those to even stay there. They should probably change that stuff around. But questions, have lots of questions. I'm interested, but I still have lots of questions. Let's look at features. Unlock your NFT potential. Intrinsic value of NFTs can finally be unlocked and used as liquidity for DeFi operations. Permissionless strategy. Your NFTs, your rules, choose the time and the rate of your loans. Rules are 100% decentralized. And like I said, we're going with this new model of decentralization and DAO. Is it decentralized, or are we just using that as a buzz term? Show us the tech that says that it's decentralized. Fair distribution, no private investment or VC allocation. That's going to be very difficult in borrowing and lending. Very difficult. It's going to be tough for them to get liquidity, because if they're in a niche market here on Cardano, in the Cardano NFT community, there's a lot of capital there, but how are you going to get people to agree to put that capital in your platform? And how are you going to do that without hype and buzz? Can you do it with fundamentals? Can you convince people to place their value in your platform using fundamentals and not buzz terms, not pretty faces as ambassadors, not buzzwords? Like what is your plan for that? And how successful do you believe you're going to be in that? And what is your contingency plan when it doesn't happen? How are you going to provide that liquidity on your own? Paribus has that. Paribus has Wave Financial's investment. They have Cardano's investment. If they weren't able to raise money, they got money. They have actual real world funds available through VC to be able to provide liquidity. They're saying they're not doing VC. And when you say that, it's always good or seen as good, because Cardano, for whatever reason, the sentiment in Cardano is VCs are evil. I'm sorry, but that is not the reality. VCs are what make the world go round. You can't build anything without money. So believing that you're going to be able to crowdfund everything is silly. It's not realistic. So permissionless. Anybody can list NFTs without permission. Anybody can lend ADA without KYC. All right, that sounds good. And that is what, again, Paribus went in with. But what changed with that? They offer now a service called Paribus Pro, where you do KYC. Because believe it or not, some jurisdictions, they don't care about buzz terms. If you are not doing KYC, you will be outlawed. Also, you can't get institutions to provide liquidity or use your services without regulatory clarity. So if you're going to go gun ho about no KYC, you are going to quickly run into problems. And those are just facts. Americans are going to have problems. People in the European Union are going to have problems. Institutions in both of those places will not be able to use your service. So there goes your TVL right there. How many people and how much money exists in the CNFT space? Is it going to be enough to float a borrowing and lending platform in a niche? I don't think the answer is yes on that. So let's move to DeFi innovation, the first ever bridge between NFT world and a powerful DeFi ecosystem, a new era of blockchain innovation. So this statement to me, again, means that they're going to jump the gun on Paribus. They're going to be the first. Okay, first mover advantage. Is that what they're going for? And the same thing that we learned with the DEX situation. First mover advantage isn't always an advantage. Look at SundaySwap. Look at MinSwap. MinSwap launched second. MinSwap seems to be way more successful than SundaySwap for a number of different reasons. Being first doesn't always mean best. Community priority. Again, buzz terms. It's good. People like that. People like being prioritized. The small guy wins. It's a good positive thing, right? But how much is too much? And how is this DAO going to work in reality? A DAO of holders to vote for verified NFT collections, rewarded with strong discounts and benefits. How are these discounts going to be applied? Who takes the cost? Who provides the liquidity for these discounts? I'm sure the people lending these NFTs are not going to be the ones taking the hit on discounts. So where is this money going to come from? Where is this liquidity going to come from? I don't know. Those are things that we probably should talk about and ask about the next time they do some kind of public space. But let's take a look at the tokenomics, introducing Fluid. So that answers the question. What's the token going to be? It's going to be the Fluid token. Fluid tokens are at the heart of the Fluid tokens platform, giving power and benefit to the community holders. It's a fair launch token with a max cap of 100 millions. I should just put 100 million. With a big percentage that will be available only for staking the Fluid already in circulation. Holders can vote and propose collections for verification. Borrowers will have strong tiered discounts on borrowing fees. Fluid will also soon be the only way to participate into the Fluid DAO and get a proportional percentage of platform fees as passive incomes. So, okay. I'm just kind of thinking like of the way that they say that. Like, can they say legally that you're going to make a passive income? I guess when you're not doing any KYC, it doesn't really matter, which is another problem. More utilities to the token will be revealed in the upcoming months. Fluid's tokens are your ticket to participate in the first ever revolution to bridge NFTs with DeFi. When they keep saying this term bridge, are we talking about an actual bridge like interoperability, like an NFT being bridged from Ethereum or Solana? Or are they using the term bridge like in bridging NFTs into the world of DeFi on Cardano? I think that's just like kind of a marketing of words more so than a feature, which even I misinterpreted myself just now in this stream. So that's another question for me. I'm taking mental notes on the things that I want to ask when I get a chance to speak to someone from this project. Why do they continue to use the term bridge in this kind of, I don't know, this marketing way? It's like the term isn't a technical term, it's a marketing term. And also, what's the deal with the KYC? I just don't see a bridge. I mean, not a bridge, but I don't see a borrowing platform being very successful without liquidity from institutions, or at least the opening up the possibility to get institutional inflow of value. I just don't think there's enough people in the C NFT space, and I don't believe there's enough projects in the C NFT space that would attract liquidity. And I'm not talking down on this CNFT space. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. I have a nice collection of CNFTs myself, but they're just, in the world of NFTs, Cardano is very small in comparison. So without the TVL inflow from Ethereum, it's going to be very difficult to attract value. It just is. You have to basically be the center of the CNFT world. And that's a lot of pressure to put on rookie developers on a very, very, very small community-driven project. If it were anything else, I would be more bullish. If it were not borrowing, I would feel much better. But the borrowing part is what's going to be tough. Borrowing platforms, there's a reason why there are very few borrowing platforms. Good point. We need the next generation to vote out the SEC. I wish you could vote out the SEC. Unfortunately, they're here to stay. And the team is doxed. So, bravo on that. I think that's a good positive point. It's not the end all be all, but it's important to see who's building the project, because without that, we would not know that this is a very fresh and new group of developers in the Cardano world. We wouldn't know that. We wouldn't know that the team is focused heavily on Cardano's NFT space. We wouldn't know that without them being doxed. So bravo to them. But I'm curious do they have any other support? Are there any other people working with our blockchain expert, our backend engineer, and our front end UX engineers? I'll do another video deep diving into each individual team member and their backgrounds and things like that. But this is kind of a surface research video. This is kind of just getting our feet wet. So those are the things that worry me. The tokenomics, we didn't look at the percentages, the breakdowns, right? So the core team will get 15%. And if you follow me and you pay attention to the things that I talk about with other projects, I typically like to see the team token percentage being anywhere between 10 and 20%. Anything over 20%, I start to get a little worried. So I think they're dead on with their core team percentage of the tokenomics breakdown. I think 15% is fair. I believe in ownership. I believe in rewarding people that create things, right? So 15% is good. It's fair. It's a reasonable amount, 15% for the core team. And that's a lot because their core team appears to be just 4 people right now. So I'm not going to count other people's pockets. But 15% I think is good. And with the team being so small, it's even better for them if successful, right? Development fund, 10% for their development fund. That's worrisome because they're going to need a lot of money for developing this. This is a first ever in a niche market with very low TVL. And the potential for TVL is small. Even if you said, if everyone in the CNFT space decided that they should provide liquidity to this platform, I still do not believe it would be enough TVL to make this project. And I do not believe that the 10% cut in the token value would be enough to give them a good front run on development and operation costs. Someone said less than 20% is fair. Yes. I've seen projects do 25% and I'm scratching my head, and I actually reached out to them and said, do you think 25% is a bit high? And weirdly enough, even, myself with such a small channel was able to convince a pretty large project to reconsider their tokenomics after the fact. And that is the power of the people. That definitely shows the power of people. We have an influence on these projects, no matter how small or big. If you see a problem, say it. I do. That's what I do. I talk about these things that worry me. This is not FUD. I don't want people that are heavily emotionally invested in Fluid tokens coming to the channel, talking trash, saying that I'm funding the project. I am not. I am reading things on their public platforms, and I am commenting on them and what I feel about them. I feel like there needs to be an adjustment with the development fund, especially given how few tokens there will be and how little TVL there is in the CNFT space. The DAO, I feel like these two should be adjusted. If the DAO is going to be as big a deal as they're saying it's going to be, I feel like we probably need to think about maybe more than 10% in the development fund, like 15%, I would say. Roll egg holder airdrop, 1.5% airdrop. Partnership and airdrops 13. This one's worrisome because I don't know what the splits are here. Incentives, partnerships, and airdrop. Well, what percentage of this 13.5 are partnerships going to get? What percentage is incentives? What percentage is airdrops? You know, like it could be too much. It could be, 7% could be airdrops, and that's maybe a little bit too much. Maybe they should adjust it down to 3.5% for the airdrops. Partnerships. I think partnerships are very important. Maybe you should bring the pre-sale and staking down. I think like this is like half the tokenomics is pre-sale plus staking. And then is the pre-sale plus staking, is that an even split? Is it 25 and 25? Should pre-sale be 25%? Should it be 75%? I think this is extremely important to be as vague as it is. Is this set in stone? Is this stuff programmed? Did they already mint the token and the tokens are sitting on the blockchain? Have they not minted the tokens yet? Can these things be adjusted? Because I really believe that they probably should be. With the team only being 4 people, if that is the team, for all we know, the founder and the blockchain expert could be the team, could be the core team. And these 2 people could be just employees. Or are they all core team and it's a 4-person split of 15%? If that's the case, then maybe drop down to 10%. We got our 5% for the development fund. So we got 10, 15. Then maybe get rid of this, add it to DAO, and then maybe let's lower that airdrop in those incentives and push more to the DAO. And then we can start thinking about pre-sale and staking. What is the staking percent they're looking at giving people that makes them believe that 50% pre-sale and staking is a good idea? What percentages are we giving out here? And then you go back to your roadmap, and when are they talking about those things? So sponsorship of DAO investment funds, Q3. Fluid earnings split with stakers is Q4. I feel like this should not be in Q4 if it plays a major role in your tokenomics. I feel like you should be talking about this stuff like between Q1 and Q2. But maybe they did. Maybe someone in that subcritical space called them out on that. We'll have to take a look. That's what I'm going to do in the next video. I'm going to take a look. They do have a Discord. So let's jump in the Discord and kind of look around. See what we got. Oops. There we go. Let's take a look at the Discord here. General. All right. Welcome, new members. Don't forget to check out FAQ. We've got an FAQ. All right. What is Fluid Token? That's on their website. Where can I buy Fluid tokens? We have not released the Fluid token yet. Public sale will happen a few days before mainnet official launch, and some airdrops will be delivered a few weeks before. Don't trust anyone who wants to sell you Fluid. They need someone to proofread. Let's see. Will there be an ISPO? We are currently considering all possible ways to guarantee 100% fair Fluid airdrop, and we may not need an ISPO to do that more soon. I feel like they should have that figured out. What is a long-term plan for Fluid tokens? V1 will implement peer-to-peer platforms. So this is what I saw originally, that you're going to do peer-to-peer. So it's not just a traditional borrowing and lending platform where it's centralized through, and when I say centralized, I'm not talking about that style of operation. I'm talking about where the action takes place. It's a centralized place, the platform where these smart contracts live and are executed from. So it's from the platform to the individual borrower and the individual lender. So it is not peer-to-peer. This appears to be a smart contract agreement between, say, myself and you. So it will work very much like the NFT process in itself, where if I were going to go on the secondary market and look for an NFT, such as a Space Bud, I would be looking at another individual that holds that Space Bud, and the two of us would interact through a smart contract on the marketplace, and it's peer-to-peer. So that's weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's just, it's different, right? So I'm worried a little bit because I feel like with traditional structured borrowing and lending on Cardano in the CNFT space, you have a limited amount of TVL. And it looks like you're taking that TVL and you're going backwards even more with a peer-to-peer contract. I just don't feel like there's that many people out there with these high value NFTs on Cardano that are looking to get liquidity. I just don't see it. Several new versions will be released, prioritizing community's requested features. Some of them will be automatic risk value calculations for lenders, liquidity mining, instant liquidity for borrowers, and cross-chain compatibility. Okay, what chains are they thinking about? It's worrisome. There's a lot going on with very little support. Okay, so this is interesting. Why Fluid tokens is different from Paribus. Again, who the heck is writing this stuff? Paribus will be a very extended DeFi protocol that will offer crypto lending, NFT lending, and synthetic assets. The problem with Paribus is that it's built on Ethereum. No, it's built using Solidity, which is the smart contract language for Ethereum. It's actually going to be on Arbitrum and Milkomeda. So their facts are wrong about Paribus. Even their token is an Ethereum 1. Again, who's writing this? ERC20, and they didn't even put the freaking hyphen between ERC and 20. Additionally, we doubt they will be able to focus correctly on NFTs lending with such a broad mission. On Fluid, we are going to write the whole protocol on Plutus, Cardano scripting language, and completely focus on NFTs and the community. Paribus doesn't even have a working MVP on Cardano. They will probably have to wait the development of EVM to Plutus converter. Fluid tokens will deliver in a few weeks the V1 and the feedbacks. This is terribly written. Who the hell is... So I'm supposed to believe that someone is going to be able to outprogram a Cardano-backed project, and they can't even structure a paragraph correctly. Oh, this isn't good. Honestly, I have a huge problem with this. They should probably delete this. Because if you're going to talk negatively about another project, you should at least know what they're building and why they're building it. I'm worried. This seems salty, in my opinion. This seems really salty. It seems salty. Let's skip past it here and let's go on to the next. When Fluid airdrop for the community. Soon we will reward all Twitter and Discord followers, but only the members that actually know how the protocol works. We'll let you know more details in the upcoming days. So I'm imagining they're gonna go with the Indigo model, which is you have to be following them. You have to kind of go through these stages of confirmation, and then you'll probably qualify if you take a quiz and you can explain how it works. Which I think is a good way to get rid of airdrop hunters. You don't want people collecting your tokens in an airdrop and then dumping them on the community. It's just kind of a waste of time. Kind of takes away from what an airdrop should be. Why is there a small liquid airdrop for Rolex support holders? Luxury Rolex NFT from Fabulous Art are how some of the team members started on Cardano, and the holders indirectly helped them to study the technology of our beloved blockchain. A very small airdrop of, okay, so that's what that little pinch out of the tokenomics is for those, those people that held that NFT for them. So now that I'm looking at it, I completely understand. How can I help? The best way you can help the team is to spread the word. Tag your favorite influencers on YouTube and tell them about Fluid tokens. If you have a blog or YouTube channel, create articles about the platform. We'll be very happy to provide all the information you want to know. Finally, give us your feedback on all the important discussions to build a solid platform that everyone can enjoy. I like this part. I would rather them do this than to kind of like beg on Twitter for partnerships and things like that. So I like this part. This stands out to me in a positive way. I do not like this part. I don't even think they need to necessarily even have it. Why are you comparing yourself to Paribus? And if you're going to do so, I think you should highlight the points that don't make you look salty. So the part here on Fluid Token, we are going to write the whole protocol on Plutus and completely focus on NFTs in the community. So they should put. So this what this says to me is that Paribus aren't doing these things, and they are correct that the protocol is not being built on Plutus for a very specific reason. If they don't agree with that, that's fine. They should stick with that statement. The Fluid token's going to be built natively on Cardano and not be built on Solidity. Like boom, right there. Maybe there are people that don't like that idea that Paribus is a Solidity contract based platform. That's fine. That's their feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would play on that sentiment and write it directly that way. I would not put that they're completely focusing on the community, because Paribus is definitely focused on the community. Paribus is not focused on the C NFT community. I would write that, because that is a true statement that does separate Fluid tokens from Paribus. Paribus is mainly focused on the major NFTs that have value, such as the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And there are good reasons for that, because those NFTs have liquidity. They just do. I'm sorry, they're mainstream. That's what the world understands and knows. There's a reason why the ape coin has done the performance that it has done and has driven the volatility that it has, because it's, in the early stages of the NFTs in DeFi and crypto in general, we're early. So, that's the world. The world is introduced to this stuff through those projects on Ethereum. Those are facts. I'm sorry. You don't really see mainstream successful NFTs on Cardano. And that is not a shot at Cardano. It is just the truth. So we are in a market that is much smaller. It's a smaller pond. So I think they should go with those statements. Built natively on Cardano, focusing on the C NFT community, unlike Paribus. I think that is a very good, fair statement that does not include any salt. This part, Paribus doesn't even have a working MVP on Cardano. Paribus never planned to have a MVP on Cardano. So that statement is false, and it's written in a salty way. I think they should get rid of it. They will probably have to wait the development of a EVM. That's like, what? Who wrote this? They will more than likely have to wait for the development of an Ethereum virtual machine to Plutus converter. They don't have to do that because Milkomeda exists. So this is poorly written, and it's a false statement. And it tells me they don't understand what a layer 2 solution such as Milkomeda is and what it has to offer. That's a problem. This statement just creates doubt and problems for me, and I'm sure it will for other people. I am really going to challenge them on this statement. And if they do delete it, I would say that's a good thing, but I'm still going to copy it and have it here. So you'll be able to see this statement. If they get rid of it, that was there. The statement was here. There's a reason why it's based on Solidity, because Plutus developers are extremely hard to get. You're going to need senior people. This project doesn't have them, and I doubt they will be able to afford them. So that's worrisome for me. Again, not the end all be all, but there's a lot more things that bother me than excite me with this project. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you like Paribus, you're invested in Paribus, you're just fudding, you're just hating on this project. Not the case. Not the case at all. I actually think it is a good thing that they are focused on the CNFT space, because Paribus is not. Paribus is not going to be focused on the CNFT space. They just aren't. It's too small. It's too small pond for them. But my problem is, if you're going to focus on that space and that's all you're going to focus on, what are your expectations as far as TVL? What does a successful TVL look like for the project in the micro and in the macro? And how are they going to reach that point? By offering just a single peer-to-peer ability to borrow and lend a small market and a small amount of NFTs to a small group of people. How are you going to achieve a maximum amount of TVL with a minimum group of people? That's worrisome for me. As far as airdropping and initial value of a token, can you make money? Absolutely. You can get a token airdrop to you for free, sell it on the open market for an amount of money, and win and be happy. That can happen with a project. They don't even have to launch their platform for that to happen. So that is not my point. My point is not the micro. My point is the macro. My point is, what is this going to look like in 4 years, 3 years? Is it even going to exist in 3 years? And if it doesn't, did they code the base code for this to be successful in the next 5 years? So that is my initial look at the Fluid token borrowing, lending, bridge of NFTs in the DeFi world, specifically on Cardano and the CNFT community. Thank you for checking out the stream. Please hit that like button, share this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.